It is day 1 of my new series, styling my hair like Marcille from Delicious in Dungeon for a week. Obviously, we had to start off the series with arguably her most iconic look that she wears for the first few episodes of the show. To start out, I'm making a part from the top of my head down to the top of my ear on each side. Now from these two sections, I'm going to take two smaller sections. Starting about my eyebrow level, I'm just going to cut straight back and take that section out. It's basically the lower 25% or so of this section. So I'm going to do that on both sides. And then with the upper halves of those sections, the larger portions, I'm just going to twist those into a bun on top of my head and clip it out of the way for now. And then with those two smaller sections, I'm going to clip those below my chin for the moment just to keep them out of the way. Now I'm going to make a part from my ears straight across to the back of my head. Now with this, I want to make sure I have enough hair hanging down for the hairstyle later. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of carve out some hair in kind of a curve underneath that section, as you can see here. This is a good trick to make sure you don't pull too much hair into your bun or your braid or whatever it is you're doing on the back there, to make sure you have enough hair hanging down below for the rest of your hairstyle. So I'm going to go ahead and carve out some hair so it looks like that. That's the after. A little comparison here is the before, and again the after. So you can see there's a lot more hair hanging down in the back. I'm going to go ahead and pull that section forward just so I can gather the hair that I want hanging down later out of the way. I'm just going to clip it into a simple bun just to keep it from getting tangled in anything else. And with the remainder of the hair, I'm going to go ahead and split it in half and then release those tiny sections that we made earlier that were clipped under our chin. I'm going to split that small section into 3 strands, and with this I'm going to do a Dutch lace braid. Now Dutch braid is like a French braid where you're adding in hair, but you're crossing the strands underneath each other instead of over each other. And what makes it a lace braid is you only add in hair to one side. In this case, I'm going to add in hair from the top. So I'm going to grab a section, I'm going to add it to that top strand, and then cross that strand and the hair added in underneath the middle strand. And then with the bottom strand, I'm not adding in any hair, I'm just crossing it underneath the middle strand. And I'm just going to repeat those steps again, only adding in hair to the top strand, one side of the braid. And once I've added in all of the hair in that section, I'm just going to stop and go back in and kind of tug on the loops of my braids just to make it a little bit bigger and fluffier. This is completely optional, only do this if you really want to. And then I'm just going to do a regular 3-strand braid about halfway down and just clip it off for now. I'm then going to repeat those steps on the other side. Again, starting with that small section in the front, splitting into 3 strands and doing a Dutch lace braid, only adding in hair to the top strand as I go along. And make sure as you're doing these braids that you are angling them straight back towards the back of your head and you don't pull them down towards your ear. You'll curve the braid downwards if you do that, and then in this hairstyle you really want it to go straight back to the back of your head. So go ahead and finish off the braid on that side as well. So you should have something that looks like this. You got the 2 Dutch lace braids, they go straight back towards the back center of your head. And now we're just going to bring those 2 braids together and just ponytail them at the center back of our head. Then just go ahead and unravel any braid that's left below the elastic, because we're going to do the little loop of hair next. You're going to grab another small elastic and just wrap it around the ponytail a couple times, but on the last wrap we're just going to pull the hair only part way through to create this little loop of hair. You should have something that looks like this. Next, just go ahead and unravel the hair that we pinned up earlier, the hair that's going to hang down in the back of the hairstyle, and then also unclip that top section from the parts that we made very early on in this hairstyle. And these are going to turn into our braids. Now, Marcille's braids do hang around her ears. I have very small human ears and not elf ears, so it's going to look a little bit different here, but I'm essentially just going to take one of the sections and tuck it behind my ear, and then with the other section split it in half, so I have 3 strands total, and just do a regular 3-strand braid. All I'm doing is making sure that it's starting at my jawline and not too high on the head, so it should start basically right below your ear. If you'd like your ear to poke through, go ahead and do that at this point and just do a regular 3-strand braid all the way down. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, again just making sure that the hair is tucked behind the ear but also in front of the ear, and just doing a regular 3-strand braid all the way down. Now this wouldn't be a Marcille hairstyle without her iconic red ribbon, so I'm going to take a length of ribbon and wrap it around the little loop of hair in the back. I'm not going to tie a full bow, I'm just going to leave the ends kind of hanging down because I really like the way it looks, and then I'm also going to take 2 smaller pieces and tie them to the ends strands of my braids in the front, and that is it. That is how to do Marcelle's iconic hairstyle from Delicious in Dungeon, or Dungeon Meshi if you will. This style looks great on its own. I feel like it would look better with elf ears, so I'm gonna try that real quick just to see, and yep, that's like 10 times cuter instantly. But I do think it also looks cute with regular human ears as well. I'm gonna be doing a different Marcille hairstyle every day this week, so tune back in for tomorrow's style. As always, let me know if you have any questions at all, and happy hairstyling! Hello friends, welcome back to day 2 of styling my hair like Marcelle from Delicious in Dungeon for a week. Today I wanted to do this ponytail hairstyle that she wears in, I think, episode 4 and a couple other episodes. To start out, I'm doing a part. She has hers on the left side of her face. I never ever part my hair on this side, so it definitely has a lot of volume. Now Marcelle has this section of hair that hangs kind of like side bangs, but it scoops under her ear, so I'm just taking a medium-sized section at the top of my head and clipping it out of the way for now. If you have bangs or side bangs, I think that would be a great substitute for this section of hair. Next, I'm going to work on the 2 braids on the side. I'm going to pick up a small section of hair right around eyebrow level, split into 3 strands, and cross the strands under each other instead of over each other. We're doing a Dutch braid here, which is similar to a French braid, where we're going to add in hair to each section before crossing it under. But instead of a French braid where we would cross the strands over each other, we're crossing them underneath each other. So I'm going to continue adding in sections of hair to each strand before crossing them under the middle strand, and as I'm braiding, I'm going to make sure to keep pulling it towards the back center of my head as opposed to pulling my hands down towards my ear. This is going to guide the braid to be nice and straight and go straight back to the center of our head. I'm going to continue adding in sections till I get to about right behind my ear, like so. I'm going to stop adding in sections of hair and just do a regular 3-strand braid. I'm going to continue pulling this towards the back center of my head as I braid, and I'm going to braid down a little bit further than I would need to pull this into a ponytail in the back. I'm going to do the exact same steps on the other side, again just a small section around eyebrow level, splitting into 3 strands and doing a Dutch braid. I'll stop adding in sections once I get around my ear level, and then just braid about halfway down, or as long as I need to reach to a ponytail in the back. I'm going to go ahead and unclip that front section. She just kind of has hers curved down below her ear. I'm going to add a small twist just to give it a little bit of shape and volume. So I'm just twisting the hair backwards away from my face and then going in and pulling and fluffing on the hair just to give it more shape. And then I'm going to do the very professional method of holding the piece in my mouth while I do the rest of the hairstyle. I'm going to grab the 2 braids, bring them to the back, and then gather up the rest of the hair as well into a ponytail. I'm also going to grab that section from the front, loop it underneath my ear, and then up into the ponytail like so. I think this piece looks a little bit funky, but it's part of the hairstyle, so I'm going to stick with it for now. I think it would look much better if it were side bangs or something similar like that. Once all the hair is gathered into a ponytail, I'm just going to go ahead and unravel those braids that are hanging down, and then she has her hair kind of folded in half in this kind of looped ponytail hairstyle, which I think is super cool. I'm going to go ahead and try that here, so I'm going to loop the hair upwards until it's basically folded in half. I'm going to find the point about where I want that loop to be. I'm just going to hold it in my hands and add a small ponytail just so that I know where I want the loop to be. This is not a necessary part. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that in half upwards like so, and then add another ponytail around that loop, just like that. I kind of moved out of frame, so I zoomed in here a bit. But you're just going to add a ponytail around the other ponytail to secure that loop in place. Once I have it secured, I'm just going to go ahead and flip the hair back over like so, and that is how you do that folded ponytail look. I think this is super cute. Of course, it's not a Marcelle hairstyle without the ribbon, so I'm going to add a little bow around the ponytail, which I think is adorable, and I'm going to start wearing ribbons in my hair more often because I love it. I think the side part bang thing actually turned out looking mostly okay, especially from the front. It's just kind of one of those weird anime pieces that looks okay in anime but not so much in real life. But again, I think side bangs or something like that would look super cute. I went ahead and added the Marcelle ears, of course, obviously, which definitely helped with the side bang piece thing. It definitely looked a little bit more normal, I think. But yeah, that's how you do this ponytail, loop ponytail hairstyle. I really like it. I'm definitely going to wear this hairstyle without the side bang piece more often. Stay tuned for tomorrow's Marcelle hairstyle. If you have any questions at all, let me know in the comments below. And as always, happy hairstyling. It is day 3 of styling my hair like Marcille from Delicious in Dungeon for a week, and today's hairstyle is one I've been looking forward to, and it's actually a 2-for-1 because the first hairstyle transitions perfectly into the second one. To start out, I am doing a deep side part on the right side of my face, which is actually where I used to part my hair all the time until I switched to a middle part. I'm going to pick up a small section of hair at the top of my head, but not too close to the front of my face, split that into 3 sections, and start a 3-strand braid. Now in Marcille's hairstyle, you can't see the mini braid in the big braid, but I like the way it looks, so I'm going to go ahead and braid this all the way down to the ends of my hair. Now that that's done, we're going to start on the big braid in the back. I'm going to drape the small braid loosely towards the back of my head, like so, and then just holding it in place, I'm going to pick up a section of hair at the center back of my head and add it to the braid. This is going to be my center strand for a demi French braid. A demi French braid it's just a French braid. I'm just starting it lower on my head, and we're only adding in a few sections. So I'm on the right side here. I'm just going to pick up a section of hair. This is going to be my right strand. I'm going to cross that over the middle strand. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the left. I'm just going to pick up a fairly large section of hair like so. That's going to be my left strand, and I'm going to cross it over the center strand in the back. Now I'm going to take a very large section of hair right here on the right side, add it to my right strand, and then cross that over the middle strand. And then I'm going to take a large section of hair on the left side, add it to the left strand, and cross it over the middle strand. And then finally I'm going to take the remainder of the hair and add that all again to the right side, so that all 3 strands are as even as I can get them and all the hair is added into the braid. Now I'm going to braid down a few stitches and then go back in and pull and tug on the loops of the braid a little bit to make it larger, looser, and messier. The goal here is to give it as much volume as I possibly can. So once I'm done tugging out those strands a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and braid down a bit more, and then again go back in and tug on the loops of the braid. I'm just going to repeat this all the way down, crossing a few stitches, going back in and tugging on the loops of the braid, crossing a few stitches, going back and fluffing up the braid until I reach the ends of my hair, which I'm going to tie off with a small elastic. Now again, Marcille always has her ribbons in her hairstyle, so we're going to go ahead and tie one around the end of the braid there. And this is hairstyle number 1. I absolutely adore this. I am 100% adding this into my regular hairstyles rotation. I am obsessed with it. It's super, super cute. And really even just that small detail of adding a tiny braid at the top, which was really easy to do, just elevated this hairstyle so much. So this is hairstyle number 1, but you can take this hairstyle and transition it into her other hairstyle she wears a couple episodes later. This kind of braided crown bun. All you have to do is take the braid that you just made and drape it up and over the top of your head around in a circle, just like a crown braid would look. Now your hair does need to be fairly long in order to reach all the way around, so if you have shorter hair you can still do this, just make a smaller circle at the back of your head instead of going up over the top of your head. Once you reach the back, you can just take the tail ends of the braid and tuck it under the beginning of your circle crown braid here, and then just pin that braid in place, making sure you crisscross pin so that they stay locked in position. Marcille also has this little bow at the top of her head, so I'm just tying a small strand of ribbon to a bobby pin and then just sticking it right in at the top there, and I actually think it looks really cute that way. But yeah, this is hairstyle number 2. I think it's adorable. You guys will have to forgive me, I 100% spaced out and forgot to add the elf ears to these hairstyles today, but I think these look adorable with or without them. I am adding both of these hairstyles to the regular rotation. I'll be back tomorrow with another Marcille hairstyle. Let me know if you have any questions at all, and as always, happy hairstyling. Day 4 of styling my hair like Marcille from Delicious in Dungeon for a week. This is today's hairstyle. I believe it's from episode 16, and to start out I'm doing a middle part. I like to do my middle parts in 2 sections. I do the top half of my head first, and then I start at the top back center of my head and just go straight down to the nape of my neck. The trick to any kind of part, getting a nice clean part line, is just don't show any fear. Just go for it. Once you have your hair split in half, go ahead and start at the back of your part line and the front of your part line and draw your fingers together to meet in the middle so you have a section that looks like this. It should just be kind of the top section of your hair, just like so. And we're going to take this section and split it into 3 equal pieces and just do a regular 3-strand braid. Nothing too special here. Personally, I like to stop every few stitches and just kind of fluff out the braid a little bit to make it look larger and more voluminous. This is completely optional. Feel free to skip this step if you don't don't want to do it. Go ahead and continue braiding all the way down. I thought I was only going to want the braids to go halfway, so I stopped braiding here, but I changed my mind later and braided all the way down to the end. So just go ahead and braid your braids all the way down to the ends of your hair. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side, just making a very similar section, starting at the front of my part and back of my part and drawing my fingers together. I'm going to go ahead and check and make sure those are as equal as I can get them, and then do another regular 3-strand braid, again all the way down. You'll see here I go ahead and go back to the first braid and just finish braiding it all the way down here. Now this alone is super cute, and I'm actually wearing this exact hairstyle as I do this voiceover because I did this and I was like, oh, I like this. I'm gonna wear it all the time now. But we're not done here. I'm gonna go ahead and take the braid and just kind of tuck it behind my ear. I'm gonna throw a bobby pin in there just to keep it in place for now. But I'm also going to gather all the hair right below my collarbone here, and I'm going to grab a ponytail and just secure the braid and all that hair hanging loose together. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side, again tucking the braid behind my ear, securing in place with a couple bobby pins, and then gathering all the hair into a low ponytail, trying to get the ponytail level the exact same as the other side. Again, would not be a Marcille hairstyle if we stopped here because we have to add her signature red ribbon. So I'm going to go ahead and tie a couple scraps of ribbon around the ponytails like so. And with that, our hairstyle is complete. This is so cute. I love it so much. I don't normally do like pigtails, but I adore it. And like I said earlier, just the 2 braids on their own were super cute. And of course, I remembered today, thank goodness, added the elf ears, which instantly elevated this hairstyle from like a 9 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10. That's it for today. Tune back in tomorrow for another Marcille hairstyle. Let me know if you have any questions at all, and as always, happy hairstyling. We're back with day 5 of styling my hair like Marcille from Delicious in Dungeon for a week. I can't recall exactly which episode this hairstyle is from, but it's these double twisted low ponytails. To start out, I'm doing a center part down the back center of my head, splitting the hair in half, and then I'm going to start my 2-strand twist. Starting on one side, I'm going to split that hair in half, and then I know I want this twist to cross inwards towards the center of my face like so. So I'm going to twist each strand outwards towards my shoulder. So I'm going to twist this strand outwards towards my shoulder, and then I'm going to cross it over my other strand inwards towards my face. I'm going to repeat that, twisting the strand outwards towards my shoulder and then crossing it over the other strand inwards towards my face. I'm just going to repeat that over and over until I've twisted about halfway down my hair. Now I'm just going to take a small elastic and secure the ends like so, and because we've twisted our strands in one direction and then crossed them in the opposite direction, the twist will stay in place on its own like so. Now, her twists are very large and fluffy, so I'm going to go in and tug on the strands to try to get it as big and voluminous as I can possibly get it. They're definitely nowhere near the size that Marcille has, but I think this still looks really cute, and it definitely looks bigger than it was at the beginning. I'm going to repeat those steps on the opposite side. However, her twists go in opposite directions. They're both going inwards, so what I need to do here is again split the section in half and make sure I'm crossing the strands inwards, so I want to twist the strands outwards. So I'm going to twist towards my outside shoulder and then cross inside towards my face. It's the same steps, they're just in the opposite direction as the last twist that we did, so that the twists will be going in the opposite direction. So I'm just going to repeat those steps, twisting towards my outside shoulder and crossing in towards my face until I've braided down as far as I did with the other braid. And then I'm going to go ahead and go back in and fluff up those twists as much as I can. And of course, we cannot forget the finishing touches of Marcille's ribbon. So I'm going to go ahead and tie a couple scraps to the ends of the braids here. And that's it. That's how you do this double twisted pigtail braids that Marcille wears in Delicious in Dungeon. I think this is super cute. I like the idea of not braiding down all the way. I think it's really fun. I haven't really done that before. And of course, we have to see how this looks with elf ears. 10 out of 10 as always. Definitely an improvement to the hairstyle, and it's really making me wish I actually had elf ears. I'll be back tomorrow with another Marcille hairstyle. Let me know if you have any questions at all, and as always, happy hairstyling. Today is day 6 of doing Marcille's hairstyles from Delicious in Dungeon for a week. Today we're doing this braid with a small braided headband from episode 20. Starting out, I am doing a slightly off-center part here on my right side, and then in the back I'm going to go underneath my hair and just grab a small section of hair right at the nape of my neck and pull that towards the front. With this, I'm going to split it into 3 strands and just do a regular 3-strand braid. Nothing special here, you're just crossing one strand over the other, over and over again, again until you've braided all the way down the length. Once that's done, we're going to move to the back to start on the big braid. Now this could very well be just a regular 3-strand braid, but since we've already done that earlier in the series, and since the braid does look a bit more detailed than the braid we've done in the past, I decided it would be a good, it's terrible, idea to do a French fishtail braid. So to do this, I'm picking up a section of hair at the back center of my head. I'm going to split that in half, and I'm going to take a small section from one side, cross it over to the other and combine it with the other side, and then I'm going to take a small section from the left side and cross it over to combine it with the right side. Now to make this a French fishtail braid, we need to start incorporating hair, so what I'm going to do is take a small section from the right side of the braid, and then I'm going to add in hair from the right side of my head into that small section before crossing the small section over to the other side. So it's just like the French braid where you're crossing a section over to the other side, you're just adding some hair to it like you would in a French braid first. Then on the left side, I'm going to take a small section of hair from the left side, hold it between my fingers while I grab some extra hair from the front of my face here, add that to that section, and then cross it over to the right side and combine it with that strand. And then I'm just going to repeat those steps over and over. Now if you want to, you can take very small detailed sections of hair to get a very intricate fishtail braid. Because this braid looked like it could possibly be a 3-strand braid instead, and because I don't want it to take me 5 billion years to do this braid, I am going to take very large sections of hair. I'm also going to stop periodically and tug on sections of the braid to loosen it up and make it a bit fluffier and bigger and messier as always. I'm just going to go ahead and repeat that all the way down, and then once I reach the end of the braid, I'm going to go ahead and secure it off with a small elastic like so. You're going to go back in and just kind of fluff up the braid a little bit more, and then we're going to take that tiny braid that we made at the beginning of the tutorial and just drape it up and over the top of our head to make a little headband. I'm going to go ahead and just pin it beneath the braid here, tucking up any loose ends beneath the French braid section of the fishtail braid. And that is it. You could absolutely do a 3-strand braid or a French braid instead of the French fishtail braid here, or even just a regular fishtail braid if you don't know how to do the French portion of it. I think this is really cute. It looks fantastic. The little braided headband is such a fun detail. I did add the elf ears to this, but for once I think it actually didn't add anything to the hairstyle. I think it looked just as fine with human ears as it does with elf ears. Tune back in tomorrow for our last day of Marcille Hairstyles. Let me know if you have any questions at all, and as always, happy hairstyling. It is day 7 of styling my hair like Marcille from Delicious in Dungeon for a week, and today is our final day. Now I went back and forth for a while trying to decide what hairstyle I wanted to do for the final day, and I just couldn't decide on one for the longest time. I thought, it's the final day, it needs to be a showstopper, it needs to be a big bang. But if there's anything I've learned this week doing this series, it's that a hairstyle does not need to be complicated to be fantastic. I mean, most of Marcille's hairstyles this week have just been a simple braid, a simple 3-strand braid pulled into a ponytail, or a little braid pulled into a headband. And I actually started this series because I've been in a bit of a hairstyling rut lately. I mean, you may have noticed I haven't been uploading the most hair tutorials lately, and it's just because I had no inspiration. I didn't feel like doing my hair, and honestly, I think it's because I felt like if a hairstyle wasn't super complicated and intricate that it wasn't worth making a video about, and I was getting burnt out on it. But look at how simple these hairstyles are, and look at how cute they are. I mean, I have felt so confident every single day in these hairstyles. I've had so much fun. I've been so excited to do these hairstyles every single day. But yeah, I think I just needed a reminder that simple hairstyles are just as cute as the complicated ones, and just because something simple does not make it boring. And most importantly, that you don't have to spend a lot of time on your hair for it to look good. I've had so much fun recreating Marcille's hairstyles this week. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already seen Delicious in Dungeon, please go watch it. If you have any questions at all, let me know, and as always, happy hairstyling.